Hey y'all, it's your girl Alex here. We have Miss Sherry with us from Divinely Guided Children, and I am super pumped with what we have in store for y'all. If you guys are interested in your CBD products, I have an amazing story and testimony. You guys have heard it all the time, like how it literally helps my kids. I give it to them daily. The 1,500 milligram bottle lasts the two of them a month. It's perfect. And if you guys have any questions, I would really love to touch in with you guys about it. What you will find in the description, I actually have my studio up with some of our designs, and so I wanted to show you guys really quick this. There we go. And so if you go, it's the link is in the description. But we have our different stuff. I have a lot more artwork coming, but if you guys want to get in on some of this, just really cute stuff. They're all just different things: mugs, shirts, kids' clothes, pillows, all kinds of really different fun things. And so I wanted to show you guys that because I have that whole other side of our business coming to you guys as well, in addition to Miss Sherry's stuff that she's got going on with your Divinely Guided Children. This is amazing. So tell us who you are, tell us your background, and then tell us what about these amazing classes you have coming up.
Okay, so I'm super excited about all of this. So my name is Sherry, and I am, right now I'm an intuitive energy healer, but I actually started out, I feel like I keep repeating myself, so apologize for those of you who have watched me before, but I feel it's important to give my background and how I got started. And one of the reasons why Alex and I bonded, I'm an animal nurse. I've been working with animals for almost 20 years, 18 years or so. I've worked in the intensive care unit setting most of the time initially, and then moved into working at a zoo in the hospital there. And so I learned energy healing because I wanted to help animals, because I was so medically trained. And these animals a lot of them were in really rough condition. And so I thought, gosh, there's got to be a better way to help these animals. And so I learned energy healing for them. And I did that for a while, and I really enjoyed it. But as you know, Alex, once I started having kids, just things shifted for me, and I became a little bit more focused on them and what they needed and what they need. And what I was guided to was working more with people and children, with the intuitive energy healing. And so I've had a practice called Intuitive Wellness for about almost 4 years now, where I work with young kids all the way till seniors, releasing past traumas through energy healing, timeline merging, removing karma, contracts, blockages, and helping people heal their timelines energetically through hypnotherapy, a variety, sound healing, access bars. So through that journey, I felt a calling to work with kids, and I really enjoyed working with kids and their parents that were struggling with these new age kids. Have such an awareness about them, and they're so spiritual that I wrote a book, Divinely Guided, a couple years ago, with a compilation of the knowledge that I had kind of learned while working with these kids and their parents, and through my children, realizing that they're unique in different ways, and you can actually categorize them in, the indigo, crystal, rainbow, star, and divine. And so I wrote about that in the book to help people understand where their children are within those categories, and why it's important to know that, so you can help parent them a little bit better, and also for teens and young adults to read the book so that they can understand kind of why they are the way they are, and they can look at the world a little bit differently and be more mindful about the way they are is unique for a reason. And so through all of that, I had this beautiful dream of opening up a children's center, a metaphysical and spiritual center where kids can come and explore their spiritual gifts, whether they're in beginning and they don't have necessarily an awareness yet, but they're interested, in spirit and in guides and animal totems and angels and past lives and those types of things, all the way to children who are just born advanced in their knowing where they are telling their parents at 3 years old that they remember their past lives and they can heal their mom and they know what star system they're from and all of that. So it's kind of that and like everything in between, but in a format where it's really fun and light, and it's, you know, through different formats such as art, music, meditation, mindfulness classes, group healing classes, and support groups. I mean, just everything in between. And so right now I'm excited because we're launching right now, and we are starting in February. Our opening is February of this year, and we're going to offer both in person in my center here in Bethesda, Maryland. That's primarily where we're stationed. But I really want to offer these classes to parents all over the country or the world, because I've gotten overwhelming amount of emails from parents saying, well, how can I offer these to my children? I'm in this state or this state. And I had that intention all along, but I didn't realize I would be doing it at the same time. So it's a lot of exciting things. And Alex I'm really excited because Alex is joining our team, and she's a part of the group as well. And she's going to be offering classes and teaching kids virtually. And so, yeah, that's kind of the gist of the background and the center. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I love how you just hit on so many different things, because I completely agree. I have my daughter, she's 10, y'all, and this child is so tapped into her gut. And she's not to the point where she's like, I know my past lives and da 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 da, like on that end of it, but she is definitely in tune. She deals with spiritual battles, she deals with warfare, she's been attacked in her sleep too. And I was just like, okay, well, this isn't just me, like, and so there's people who are really facing these things, or you might know someone who's dealing with this. And when I had come across, Sherry was talking a little bit about her stuff, I was like, oh my gosh, we have got to collaborate, because like that has also been so heavy on my heart, where I've been writing programs and I've been doing stuff, like, because just like how she will have services there in person and online, same thing here, like incorporating the horses and stuff, because that's my gig, is the equine psychotherapy. I'm finishing grad school for mental health, which that's a whole interesting thing with tapping into the the pseudosciences, essentially.
Yeah, I love that. I love that topic. It's all merging together right now, which is a big thing.
It really is. And it's so, because that's one of the things that I've been doing actually a lot of my research on, and part of what I want to do, I'm doing my thesis on, is energy healing. And it's this very pseudoscience is what the politically correct term is, but it's this beautiful energetic healing. And what's super cool is it's starting to become more mainstream, to where people are like, oh wow, this is actually a science backed, basically, information that people are able to really study and recreate the same different experiences, where it's like and it's not that they'll have like the exact same experience, but like they're energetically, they're healing, they're receiving a more positive impact, like those things. So it's super, super needed. Absolutely. Which I'm super excited about the support groups too, not just for kids, but also parents who, and you're going to be dealing with people who are in tune with their own spirit and their own guides. So like you're talking to someone who's like, oh, here, let me break it down for you. Like, because that's also a need. I know, Sherry, you and I were talking about, parents are just like, okay, so I am accepting that my child is just being, but oh my gosh, what do I do?
Yeah, right.
How do I tread these waters? Because I don't know. Help me.
Exactly. Yeah, I get desperate parents contacting me all the time, and they're like, I want to support my child, but I have no idea what to do. I'm still tapping into my spirituality. I'm still learning. And so that's the great part about the center, is that we have a whole section for parents on intuitive development, so they too can tap in and learn about all of this along with their children, and support groups for parents to talk to other parents who are in the same boat, trying to figure out how to navigate through spiritually driven children or awakened children. And so we have a lot of support for the parents too, because I know it's needed, because I wish I had something like this earlier on, when I was working with my kids when they were much younger, trying to figure out how to navigate through some of the stuff that they were saying. And so I know it's needed, really, truly.
And I think it's the timing too of everything kind of all that those synchronicities, right? Lining up where it's like we are actually having this massive, like global, I hear the term the awakening, but people, what I see is people realizing, oh my gosh, I actually am this spiritual being having a human experience. And we're trying to navigate things that are attached to our soul and are just, and it's so deep, right? It is so deep, and people are like, oh my gosh, this is actually a thing. And as we step, and people are starting to really walk into this last, I would say this last decade is really where I felt such a massive shift personally, and maybe that's just my life. I mean, what do you think? Did you like, is there a shift, a time frame that you really notice? It's like a collective energy is really starting to vibrate?
Yeah, I would say when the crystal children started coming, I noticed a huge shift, and that was around 2000, around 2004, 2005 is really, so a little bit farther back, but I think more condensed. You're right. Like within the last 10 years, like there's been a huge, massive shift within that period, or about a decade. Yeah.
And it's cool because it's just like it's just, if you are spiritually in tune, or maybe you're looking at both of us like, what are you crazy ladies talking about? Like it's so beautiful because people, like, that is where we're supposed to ultimately rise to. And I always think of like, this is just my opinion. Take it with a grain of salt, y'all. This is just my opinion. But I always had this just like feeling that even when it talks about like in heaven on like it is on earth, like or on earth like it is in heaven, where it's like our beings are able to ascend to such a higher vibration. This is like a cleaner diet. This is a more fulfilled wellness, like part of your, like your whole everything is just like top tier, and you're very good quality care for yourself, where you're able to just actually vibrate in those higher dense, like it's not as dense anymore because there's not the negativity. There's so many things that are coming out, that are being released. And I mean, we are literally, if you guys have been studying kind of just really what's going on and just kind of getting through all like the fluff, I guess you could say, there's a lot of really positive inventions that are and patents that are being released. And so it's like our whole world is shifting in the moments, whether people realize it or not. And so I think what your programs are bringing to the masses, not just in Bethesda, Maryland, but on virtually, right? In this virtual sense where we're all able to navigate these massive changes spiritually, that we're going to be going through too, if you haven't already, or it's going to become more intense.
Yeah. And this massive frequency shift that we experienced this past year in December 21st, a lot of children felt that too. So people forget, the children, just like us, are feeling those ascension symptoms. And I've been talking about this a lot recently because my children are feeling it, and it's like a nervous energy, because so they're high vibrating, but then they have the fluctuations of the vibration of the shifts of their environment, right? And they tap into the earth much more easily than we do, even if they don't necessarily have an awareness that that's what they're doing. So they feel those subtle vibrational shifts, and internally, physically, our bodies react to it. And because they're so sensitive to it, a lot of very common things that they're experiencing right now are uneasiness, unsettled, have difficulty sleeping. Maybe they're even a little like clingy, more so than they would normally be to their parents, or physically stomach aches. I don't know about your kids, but mine keep complaining about, and it's not like I have to go to the bathroom, stomach ache, because that's always that's the mom's question first. Right. Need to go to the bathroom. Those questions, once we get those out of the way, my children are starting to understand. No, mommy, it's like I feel weird in my tummy, like butterflies or whatever, and there isn't much we can do about it necessarily, but it's just a knowing that we understand that they're also going through these frequency shifts, and they feel them because they're more sensitive than we are. So I mean, there are things that you can do if you know energy healing. Reiki is incredibly impactful for children. I do Reiki on my kids all the time. Not so much the older one. He's a teenager. He doesn't want anything to do with me right now. But but the younger ones that still want me around, they'll ask for it because they know they feel better. Mm-hmm. But for those people watching that may not be able to do that, which everybody has the ability to do that. It's a matter of tuning in, but just giving them extra love and support, and attention, because that's really what they need. They just need to feel secure, because they don't understand what they're feeling or why they're feeling that way. But if they feel like their parents are like, hugging them and making them feel safe, then that will oftentimes be all they need, to feel better.
Yeah, I found definitely my daughter, because I have my 10-year-old daughter, my son is about to be 9, and then I have the baby who just turned 2. And so my middle son's kind of like your teenager. He's like, I don't really like, he's I don't know.
Yeah.
But my daughter, she's definitely the one who's a lot more in tune. And she just wants to like curl up into my lap. And like when we do our meditations together, I mean, and literally guys, y'all can start just doing that together. Like we literally put yoga mats on the floor in our living room. I put on a guided meditation, and I just like am either touching them or something. Cause I don't know how to do Reiki, but even that, like my kids go to bed, cause then they go to bed because it's 3 times a week, or excuse me, 4 times a week. And then they go to bed. And so they go to bed on this like higher vibration where they're calm. They have been, they have their, oh, my cat just almost took my computer down. They go to bed on this higher vibration to where their emotional needs are being met in a way that is tangible for, I think, most people. And I mean, just don't forget too, to like touch that contact, and whether it's with a spouse or a teenager who's starting to make that turn and come back home, because they all make that turn. And if they're willing to do it too, then that's great, because even just those little things, you can start to really change the energy in your environment. And like, I don't know, I turned it down so we can get on, but I mean, like, I'm always playing the binaural beats, right? The ones that really just resonate with me. Like my kids were fighting, and I was just like sitting there, and I like just took a deep breath, and then I turned on the music louder, and they were like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm getting in my happy space, because like I was finishing dinner and stuff. I was like,
yeah. Yeah.
And it's just like, those are tangible things I think most people can do. I mean, and if you aren't sure what I'm talking about with binaural beats, in the description, there is my musical healing episode. I was really talking about it and that's where the 30-day challenge was going on. The 30 days actually ended on Inauguration Day. So we aren't actively doing it. And the email is being sent out to all the people who participated, by the way. So I am really excited to present those results. So you guys will be receiving that today for sure, the email in response to the questionnaire. So but yeah, I mean, like, go even to that episode, watch it. It's really short. It's brief. I was keeping my stuff super condensed so like people can download them in very tangible ways, right? Bite-sized pieces. And so I really go into that, changing the energetic, like the energy in your environment via using binaural beats and allowing that. I use just like a little speaker is what vibrates. Literally, I can feel my pillow and everything vibrate at night. And that's where it kind of came from, was like to kind of help reset your brain. And like, that's where the whole thing just even arrived from. Yeah. But it's beautiful because like then the objective with the 30-day challenge, if you guys don't know, was to do basically help your brains rewire when you're in your that subconscious state, your sleep state, right, where you're most accessed and like most open to that higher state of being. Then you guys, the goal or the objective, because I felt significant difference, and it was helping me stay very peaceful even through all the chaos. Like, the objective was to help bring everybody else on, and then the 30-day challenge was to see what people actually got out of the results personally, like people who watch, like, let's talk about it, and what the research I had done and pulled like the studies and stuff. So sorry, I know that was
no, that sounds really cool. I'm interested. I'm just listening.
Oh yeah, no, it's I mean, but you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I have like playlists and stuff of like whatever your objectives are, and they're super long. They're like 8 to 12 hours even. And you just like, my phone doesn't really go. I usually plug my phone in and it'll just stay on and like play, which is perfect. So
yeah. Music is so healing for kids, and it can really shift their vibration. And I highly recommend music for them because it really can be so soothing. And I like the binary beats. I like, sometimes I'll put on those YouTube long videos that are like 3-4 hours that are like 432 hertz or 532 hertz, just what I'm in the mood for. And they'll play for a very long time. So yeah, I love music for kids. That's why I'm excited about the music classes. Because I think that kids, they really, they respond to it. And my kids, I have the crystal sound bowls. Yeah. And they love to play with them. So
absolutely.
Yeah, so they'll anything they can get their hands on, hands on is fun for them to just try
Yeah.
the bowls out and see how they feel.
Oh, absolutely. And giving them that space to explore themselves spiritually. And like you said, like, how do you feel? Like, where is it resonating with you? Like, and allowing them that space to play with that energy and that being like, I can't tell you, like when my daughter finally talked to me about being like attacked in her sleep, she did not know how to approach me. She was really scared. She's like, well, I didn't think you were going to freak out. She's like, but I feel like I'm going crazy. And I just I'm going to start crying. I just gave her a big hug and I was like, baby, you're not crazy. I was like, these things happen. And so like, I feel like there is a lot of children who may be experiencing some of these things too, who may feel like they're crazy, but when they have another kid who is resonating with their experiences, or at least just had experiences, it helps give them a space to realize too that, oh, this is normal. And so like, I'm super excited for your classes because it is like, this is so needed.
Yeah, and that's the whole premise or idea behind the support groups, so that children can talk to other, they don't want to hear us talk that much. And sometimes they just want to hear other children or other kids their age talk about their experiences so that they could be like, oh, wow, this happened to you too. And in what way and how did it make you feel? And so that they can share with each other, so they don't feel like they're alone. And also they get excited because they feel like, oh man, I can share something, because a lot of kids are afraid, even like you said, to share with you because they don't know how their parents are going to react. More so than that is they don't want to share with their friends because they don't want to be made fun of. They don't want to be bullied. They don't want to look different. And so they just keep it inside and they don't talk about it. And so these support groups are really for kids who want to talk about it, may not necessarily want to talk about it with their friends. So this is a way that they could talk to kids all over the country without feeling, embarrassed or shy, because these are kids that want to talk about the same things. Yeah. So
I know, it's so, I'm super excited because it's just, and I mean, if any parents out there that are watching this that resonate like with what my daughter, went through, where she was worried and like now it breaks your heart because it's just like, oh my gosh, and you realize that, it hits you again, like how big my world and my feelings, like you were talking about the ascension, like I'm going through really big emotional swings. Like you and I were just talking, I was like, man, I need to smudge my house because there's something in my house. Like the energies are so chaotic. I'm just like, what is going on? I need to cleanse. And if you have that same feeling, I have a video about smudging and I break everything down and it's, and if you are into like astral projection and stuff like that, that goes into like setting the environment, the space for that stuff too, because there's like different ones you can burn. So I didn't put it in the description, but in my content, y'all, if you go on my page, it's the one that called smudging. So tap into that if you guys are also having those issues. So I wanted to talk about this. Am I sharing my screen? Yes, I'm sharing my screen. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the website. So y'all, in the description, it has her website link is at the very top. So I wanted to kind of show people a little bit about your website and what they can expect, So here's.
And we need to get you on the website. I need your info.
Yes, I will send it to you.
You're next.
So we have Miss Sherry. This is a little more about her as well. Her other lovely instructors and where they're at and what their specialties are.
We have such an amazing team. I can't even express how grateful I am to have these lovely people come together. And, I have so many more. I have like at least 10 more that really want to talk to me and get involved, which is I'm so grateful for that, because the response that we're getting about this from people who don't even have kids, and they're like, how can I help? It's just everybody recognizes the fact that this is really needed right now.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Absolutely, I could not agree more. And so these are just the different classes and stuff that they offered. So here we wanted to talk more about what's coming up. So connecting with spirit, meditation, breath work, creating art with spirit, all of these different things, right? And so these are, I think, very fair prices, at least here. So I'm in Texas and she's in Maryland. So absolutely, these are.
Yeah, we're trying really to make this very affordable, because I don't want any child not to be able to participate.
Absolutely.
Because their parents can't afford it. Like that's not what this is about.
No, I completely agree. And so more content with the different classes you guys have going up.
Yeah.
This I think is really cool. I definitely want to get more in on this with you personally about that, because I think, like you said, every one of us can actually do it, y'all. And if you don't realize, like, I mean, like, this goes so deep, it's down to like our cells. Every individual cell of our body has this vibrational frequency to them. I kid you not. And I'm not being over exaggeratory. Like, it literally is that deep. And if you think about how many cells in just like your own body, let alone, you know, everything else that has an energetic field to it that surrounds you, right? Which is literally everything. This is, we all have this ability to tap into this. Not a single one of us is different. And this is something I think is,
Honestly, I feel like this was taught, like this should be taught in school. Like energy, like Reiki is just another word for energy healing, but kids they learn these things so easily. And I think every parent and child, like everybody should know how to do this, because innately we all do. We just consciously aren't aware of it, but it's so easy to learn and it can do so many good things.
It can. And that's the thing too, of where I've seen this next kind of shift as like, I truly see that a lot of the technology is going to come out that's going to help us make our lives easier. And at the same time, because of those technologies, the free energy, the water, the hydroponics being accessible literally worldwide, it's going to give people more time to actually slow down and really start tuning into their spirit. And that's really where I see just the earth as a whole transitioning into. And one of the key ways that we're going to be able to do this is by creating a generations of caregivers, parents, grandparents, daycare professionals, school teachers, everyone who has a hand directly or indirectly in the rearing of a child, right? It's that community, all these different people who if we can educate and get people to understand this, even the basics, where it's like a basic meditation practice and, basic things like that. If you can start tapping into these aspects of the adult life, you will drastically overhaul that of the children's. And so that's one of the key things too. I've always been reminded, because I'm kind of like you, I want to work with the kids, but I've always been reminded, because this is kind of where my not so great spot, or it wasn't at one point in time, I did a lot of like focus on that because I didn't like having a weakness, was dealing with the parents and actually being able to connect with them. And because that was something I was shown, I was like, this is a critical piece. Like, you need to make sure you're tapping into this too, because we cannot have the children. Eventually I'm sure we could, in like 20 times longer than we should, but no need to do all that. If we can also have we have this piece of knowledge that we need to bring this collective along with the children. Right. Yeah. And so, they're so important.
Absolutely.
And so then right here, boom, schedule of classes, you guys are going to be able to look at everything that they've got coming up.
Yeah. I mean, right now we are offering a ton of virtual classes, but ideally I'd like to get to the point where we offer all the same classes, virtual and in person. But the problem is a lot of the ones that are in person, I'm trying to make sure that they can get, the same thing out of it virtually. And it's still engaging. So that's why we have a ton more, in person right now. But I encourage people to check back almost daily, because we're adding things, or subscribe and you'll get newsletters, or follow us on Instagram, because we're going to be putting out weekly posts on what's coming up the next week. But we're adding classes all the time. I just can't keep up. I'd have more, but I can't keep up with like typing all these in and posting them and getting, it's a lot of work. It's time consuming. And I'm still seeing clients and running my other business and working with other people doing their healing. So, bear with us, but hopefully we'll get to a flow where we'll have a lot of the same classes, and then we'll just keep offering them, and go from there. But we're still in the beginning phase. So it's growing, but it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. No, and I feel the same way, where it's like, I blink and I'm like, wait, what day is it? It's like a week later. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't keep up. But right here, y'all, is where you guys can go on and you can book for the classes and sessions and stuff. And you can see exactly what she was talking about with the in-person class. I'm obviously working on more of the virtual stuff. But here's more information where everyone can book any of the sessions that are coming up. Here's the virtual stuff.
Yeah, so there's a good amount, but we'll be adding more to it as we go. And I need to also make this clearer. The sessions can be offered at a distance as well. So that's talking about like the healing sessions that we do can be done distance for children and parents in other states. We can do the energy healing from a distance. So don't feel like you're left out.
Yeah, I love that you made that point because I had to make the transition too to online everything, and I was like, when everything first happened, I was like, oh, we're gonna figure this out.
Yeah, I mean, we have to. And, even when everything goes back, I don't know where it's going, but when things shift again and people start going out and back in their community, there's still a demand for this virtual regardless, because children all over the world are going to be interested in taking these classes. And so somebody asked about, I think I saw somebody in the chat asking about UK. So I believe as long as you can log into Zoom and you have internet, I believe you should have access to these virtual classes, right? I mean, is there a difference in country like that? I don't think so. Okay.
No, there isn't, because I've been doing interviews with people from the UK, and
okay.
It was over Zoom. Everything was fine. It's just the time zones. Like that's going to have to be.
Yeah, true. Because this is Eastern Standard Time that all of these on the website are listed. So, having that in mind, that's a very good point. Having that in mind as we expand into the later this year, we'll start out offering like an international section where we cater to the different time zones. So give us some time. And if anybody watching this video, whether live or later on, feel free to email me, and you can just email me through the website because I'll get it with suggestions, thoughts, concerns, anything, because I really feel like this is not my although it is my baby and I'm very proud of it and I love it so much. What I'm trying to do is create a community where I have input and suggestions from anyone and everyone, whether they're teachers, children. Some of these classes, kids are actually going to be running them so that they can be more peer driven. So the sky's the limit on what we can create, right? So if you have ideas or classes that you think that your child would benefit from that I have not thought of yet, please email me, because I am totally open to thoughts and suggestions, because we're growing, we're going to grow fast, and I want to make sure that kids are getting the most out of this experience. So feel free to reach out.
Yeah, no, I love that. I mean, this is exciting. I'm excited because it's so funny with the synchronicities of things that have been lining up and stuff like that, where just now we're here and it's going faster than I expected.
Okay, I was telling somebody in an interview the other day, I don't even remember who I was talking to. I've been planning this center for years, okay? I needed to write the book first because I wanted to get all the information out. So that had to happen. But that was, a couple years ago, and then COVID hit, and I was like, okay, this is definitely not the time to open a children's center, right? And so I was thinking, around December of 2019, okay, this is the year that we're going to do this. I'm going to launch it. I'm thinking like summer into fall of this year right now. I literally got a message, everything happened December 21st and on. It's all about like, let's go, right? And I got this message early morning on December 23rd from my guides, and they were like, all right, Sherry, it's time to go. Get going, like with this sense of urgency, right? I was like, what? Like, where am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? And I had like 1,000,002 questions. They should share just one thing at a time. Get the website going. And it has exploded from December 23rd until now, literally one day short of a month. This is incredible. But, the universe needs something, and there's a want, and it's for the highest good of these children. And this is really for them. Things are going to happen, in divine timing, but certainly a whirlwind, though. This is crazy.
It's funny you say that too, because I had the same thing a little bit, I think it was like the second week of December. I had my guys like hit me one day and was like, all right, you need to get up now. And then I was like kind of taking my time, and I got another down, was like, you're being lazy. You're going to miss your time. Get now. And I was like, okay, dang. Like they were not playing. I was just like, okay.
Sometimes they could be quite stern, and sometimes they're very loving. But if there's a sense of urgency and we're, we're taking our time, dragging our feet, like they'll let us know.
Yeah. And I mean, I think it's just, I mean, and then here we are. And I agree with you.
There is very much a sense of urgency to some extent, because if you think about it, all of these amazing children that are still being born, but really the cusp of them that are in adolescent right now and into that, toddler into adolescent, those children right now need this. This is not like, okay, 10 years from now, kids are going to need it, or the generation being born this year is going to need it. No, like this is something that's been needed, and it's exceptionally needed right now. So the sense of urgency, I understand, because it's like, okay, there's a need, there's a want. Let's put this together. I'm sure there are other people all over the world doing this. I can't be the only one, but I'm playing my part in getting this going in my unique way, and I'm sure there are others doing the same. But it really is all about the kids. So whatever they need, the universe will make sure that they have it.
I mean, I couldn't agree more. And I mean, it's kids, it's young adults, it's college age. I mean, it's even into the older generations, right? Folks in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, even the 90s, where it's like I know are feeling the energetic shift. And it's been interesting, just watching them start to awaken to what's going on. Like they just can't put their finger on it, but like something's off, and they've never really been terribly in tune. And so it's just, yeah.
Well, like I said to the parents, who all of us are aware, and we all have a higher consciousness. We come in, the veil is very thin, but what happens is a lot of these children, if they're not supported, or us as adults, we're not supported, and it's not the parents' fault. Maybe they didn't have the resources, or they didn't have a knowing yet either. And unfortunately, a lot of these children, they just shut down. Around the age of 5 or 6 is a very critical age in a child's life, where they begin to start to shut down their connection to spirit if they're not supported, or they don't have an understanding, or perhaps they feel shy or embarrassed. They don't want to be made fun of by their friends because they think they're different. This is a critical time for them to explore all of this. And so the 40s and 50s and 60-year-olds, or even the 20s, those that are just still starting to have children, need this support too, because they're going to be raising these spiritually aware children. And there's no accident. I believe anyways, that children, they choose us. We choose each other. We choose our families. So they came in knowing that they would be supported in some way by the parent they chose right now, at least this generation. So the parents need resources too, to understand them. So it's not just about the children, it's about the parents too. We don't want to forget about them.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I mean, it's just, that's one of the things I've always looked at when it comes with maybe my perception of what someone did was wrong. You were talking about maybe the parents didn't have resources. So maybe you had a mom or a dad who always screamed because they didn't understand. And so maybe you have some kind of issue with that. One of the things I would challenge people to look at is, what is the person's intent behind what they did? Did they not have resources? Because that's something that's been really pressing on my heart heavy, and it's doing it again right now, is that ability to forgive. I've been super deep in the study of the Ho'oponopono and just really like tapping into that healing vibration. And because that is something I actually hope to really scientifically prove is, do you know anything about it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's a big part of my practice for the past 6 months is Spirit has guided me to help people. I mean, I talk about forgiveness in my first book, Intuitive Transformation Evolution, because that book is all about tapping into a higher awareness, understanding our emotions affect our well-being and our health. And I talk about forgiveness as one of those aspects of that, because we have to forgive. We have to learn to forgive, because it's such a third dimensional state of being. When you tie yourself, you're literally tethering yourself energetically to this person that you can't forgive, and all it's doing is pulling your vibration down. And that person may have already moved on, like they're moving on with their life, but you are perpetuating the vibration of anger or fear or resentment, whatever it is that's binding you two together. So it is so freeing to cut that cord and let things go. You will feel amazing when you do that. And it's all about forgiveness, because as the more you are stuck in the third dimension and you can't forgive, or you have anger, resentment, guilt, fear, you can't ascend. It's not possible. And so I have been working with adults daily through my practice on helping them energetically, physically, emotionally let go. It's imperative right now. And we have to teach our children at a young age to do that as well. I tell my kids all the time, if they're upset, let it go. It doesn't matter. Let it go. Breathe in, exhale, breathe it out. That's your way of, because they need a way, a mechanism to let it go, whether it's through breath, through crying, through exercise, through that, energy channeling. But yeah, I agree completely that we have to forgive. We have to let go, because we're only hurting ourselves.
I absolutely agree. What is it? My daughter, she'll she gets super mad. She goes like, ah. Yeah. Like, cool, do you, baby? If you release it,
that's a release.
And yeah. It's just, and I mean, because I know I did it one day because I was just so frustrated, and she was just like, this works.
It does.
I wanted you to see this comment, though. I didn't know if you had a chance to see it, where just to give more of that confirmation. So I'm really excited, y'all. Get on her website. It's in the description. Reach out, schedule sessions. This is.
Yeah. We're here for you. I'm building this for your children. So reach out to me. Give me your thoughts, your ideas. Tell me what you guys need, and we'll make it happen some way, shape, or form. And if you want to be a part of the group and you have something to offer that you could teach virtually, send it my way, because I feel like this is going to expand to a point where we're going to be extended, Alex, we're going to need more people to be able to teach than what we have now. So reach out to me.
Oh yeah, you were talking about other people, around the world doing kind of the same thing. And just what popped in my head was there are not enough teachers to fulfill this need worldwide. That's kind of what I just kind of saw. That was a download I got, was just the need. And so, yeah, I completely agree. If you guys have those skill sets, this is something that resonates with you. Definitely reach out to Sherry. This is, it's going to be super awesome.
I'm excited about it. I'm excited. I saw a comment about from Sharon about Damien. I don't even want to.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know who that is?
No, I don't. Do you?
Mm-mm. She was saying that she thinks we could get help from him. So I'll have to look up his name and see, look at his webinar she's talking about. Sharn, I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry. When I have, there you go, Damien Sharn. Yeah, when I have my screen share on, I can't see anything. So, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to look at him. But y'all, thank you so much for joining us. Remember, if you guys have, part of this too, that I actually started giving my kids, I kid you not, this is what they take. Whoa, there it is. And that's one of the things too, kind of not just, we've been changing our diet, everything else, because, it's all intertwined. It's all comes back together with each other, where it's what you put in our bodies. It's what, the food, the water, it's our spiritual side, it's our mental health side, it's our physical side. It's all of these things combined together to be able to lift our ability to actually vibrate. Because if we're eating crud all the time and trying to meditate, we're still not physically going to feel good because we're not optimizing it. That's another thing with the CBD. There's some fantastic references in there, but just quick, down and dirty. This is one of the things with the cannabinoid receptors and how they infiltrate. It's one of the ways I deal with my pain. I have I actually have herniated discs that have permanent nerve issues in my arm, and it just, it's there, but it's manageable. I do a lot of stuff with that, and I did start giving my kids this. This is 50 doses, basically at 0.6. I give each of my kids 0.5 a day. And so it turns out to be 30 days worth for the two of them. And so that's another thing I would love to talk more with you guys about, because it's also about getting our bodies together physically on a more healthy way. Because realistically, that is something I was seeing, a vision. I have them often and talk about it all the time on my videos of stuff I've seen too, of where we're going as a collective whole. But I did see very, not recently in like the next 5 years, but it is going to be coming to pass where we're actually able to be in that higher vibrational realm as a collective whole on earth and really tapping into these other pieces of our well-being. Like this is going to be key to it, right? So I'd love to talk more with you guys about it. There's reference information in that breaks it down even more scientifically in the description as well. My contact info is in the description. Scroll to the very bottom. It'll be there for my email, as well as other places that you guys can find me personally at, just because with the censorship and everything else going on, I want to make sure people can find us.
Yeah, I'm looking up this Damien guy real quick.
Yeah, I know, right? So until next time, beautiful souls, I'm Alex, and we'll get with you later.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.